So combination of both native as well as web. So there are three types of application: native, hybrid, and web applications. So native applications are the applications which lie in mobile, like it doesn't require any internet connectivity. So the mobiles are purely installed in the the applications are purely installed in the mobile device, which will communicate with mobile operating system. Whereas web applications are the applications which are similar to desktop web applications, like launching a URL in a browser. So for Android, we are using Chrome browser, whereas for iOS, we are using Safari browser. Okay, and hybrid applications are the applications which are a combination of both. Web means which is installed in the mobile device, but still if you want to work with that particular application, you need internet connectivity. So those applications are hybrid applications. Basically, nowadays market customers, I mean the companies are developing hybrid applications just for the user interaction, for better user interaction, and to provide good user interface and design to use the application. Like example, we have seen Gmail, how Gmail is helping us. So then we know what are the advantages and disadvantages of APM tool. Like we no need to recompile the application. Then no source code is required for automation. If you are getting the end APK file, .apk file, that's more than enough for us to automate. And parallel execution is possible with Android devices, and it's completely open source. These are the some of the advantages. And as every open source tool come with a limitation, right? It's not possible to do parallel execution with iOS devices with APM tool. And you cannot test applications for the version which are Android below 4.1. So then we have seen what are the this APM architecture. So let me quickly open this diagram what we have seen yesterday. So as you are aware of Selenium architecture, so APM is a similar kind of architecture which is a wrapper on top of Selenium. But since we have mobile which is coming into picture, since we are executing the scripts in mobile devices, now this architecture is specific to Android, right? So we need Android SDK which is installed here. So once you write the code, you will have language bindings. So you can write the code in any desired language. So we selected Java as a programming language. Now once you write this code is transferred in the form of JSON wire protocol through REST API through APM server, which is started here. So you can similar to your Selenium grid server, you will start your APM server. So this in your local host. So this is very slow. Water case installed. So once you get a valid device, will detect the device with serial ID. Okay. So once you get a valid serial ID or a device which is active, then this APM server will request UI Automator to push this particular command into this mobile and execute the script. If it is native application, it will execute on the native apps, or if it is web application, it will launch Chrome and Chrome browser and execute web apps. Or if it is hybrid, it is app specific, which hybrid application you are working. So like this, based on your configuration and your code, what you write for native, hybrid or web application, your scripts are pushed to mobile and execute and the status is back thrown to user with the help of APM server. So this is the main task of APM server. With the help of UI Automator, it is communicating the code what we have written to your mobile devices. So this is a high-level overview of the APM architecture. So any queries, guys, here in APM architecture? And as I told, it is a client-server based architecture where APM is the server here, and client is nothing but the code what we write in a different language bindings. Clear? So these are the design concepts what we were discussing. So it uses HTTP tunnel to forward request and response, and for Android it uses UI Automator for API level 16. So when I say API level 16, in Android there are different levels. Let me tell you like this. So in Android, let's say version 4.4 KitKat is equal to API level 16 in Android SDK. So this level API version 4.4 is shown on your device, and the version name is KitKat. So but in your Android SDK, when you go to the platforms, you will have a API level with API 16. Now let's say suppose you have Lollipop here. 5.0 is the name of Lollipop is the name of this 5.0 version, and it is API level 18. So this is how each and every Android version. So your Android version is mapped to a name and with a particular API level which is installed in your Android SDK. So we have seen how to install Android SDK, right? So I will show you how exactly you will be able to see this platform levels in Android SDK folder. Okay. So as a theory part, this is what we already discussed in our yesterday session. So and we have seen what are the prerequisites which were required to set up APM in our mission for mobile automation for Android. So we already know Java, Eclipse, TestNG, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium jars. The only additional things are Java client, APM for Windows, and Android SDK. And Node.js is missing here. We will see how to download Node.js and install that. That's fine. So API level is nothing but so whenever you're working with your scripts, let's say you need to provide on what particular mobile device you need to execute this code. So you need to provide desired capabilities that we will discuss in detail. So during that, you need to provide version of your device. Your version can be version 4.4, it is KitKat, or most of the mobiles are now in version 6 and version 7, right? Nougat and Marshmallow, or Oreo, or version 8 in the latest devices, or Android version 8 Oreo. So if it is Oreo, it will have a API level in a platform, Android platform, where it is installed. So Lollipop, let's say version Android 5.0 Lollipop is API level 18. So you can check the API level for each and every Android version. The API level will be different. This is nothing but platform level, your platform version. Okay. So your each and every Android version will be mapped to a platform version of Android SDK. So version 5 is mapped to API level 18, and version 5.1 is mapped to API level 19, like that. Version 5.1 is mapped to API level 19. So this is how each and every Android versions will be mapped to particular API level in an Android SDK. So if you want to develop an application which will support 5.1 and below that, you need to use API level 19 and start your Android SDK for your coding. That is what API levels are. So which is also called as platform levels. So we have seen installation of Android SDK in our yesterday session. Clear? So these are the portals, web links where you can download your required software. So we have discussed this client server architecture. So then we have seen the setup. So once you install Android SDK, you will get a folder, right? So go to the C drive. So under C drive, you can go under US folder. Then select which particular user you have logged in. Then you can click on app data. Suppose if you are not able to visible this app data folder, just enable the hidden files. You will be able to see this app data folder. Android, open Android. So this is the root of your Android SDK. Okay. The Android SDK is installed in this particular location. Android, if you want to discuss each and every, is a very big course again, guys. So I will explain automation as a tester. So even though it doesn't require to work with the tools, I will tell you APM, what all the tools APM is going to use in this particular SDK, so that you will have a better understanding of mobile automation in fundamentals. Now, once your SDK folder is available here, copy till SDK path, copy this SDK path and open your environment variables. So open your environment variables and set up your Android home. So I have added a variable here, new variable. So your variable name will be Android and provide your path till SDK. Clear? So once you set your Android home path, then just edit the path variable, navigate to your SDK folder. Now you are seeing different folders here: build tools, emulators, extras, patchers, platforms, tools, platform tools, and tools. Okay. So copy this platform tools path till the platform tools and paste in the path variable. The path variable here, and similarly copy till tools as well. Clear? I will explain why you are copy pasting this platform tools and tools. Okay. So now if you want to check whether your Android home is set properly or not. So just now we have set up your Android home and path variables which are required for automation. We need to check whether that variable is properly set or not. Just open command prompt, check for ADB version. Type ADB version. So it will tell what is the Android debug bridge version. What is the Android debug bridge version and which particular location it is mapping. So if you see this location, till platform tools we have mapped. Then we have adb.exe your application. So your application is installed here and Android debug bridge version is 1.0.40. Clear? So any queries in setting up Android home path, guys? So all clear here? Yes. Now, so just connect your mobile device. Connect your mobile device. Let me connect my mobile device. And so once you connect your mobile device, then you need to know what is your Android SDK, what all the operations that Android Debug Bridge can do. So let's discuss some. Let me take a new pen. So what is ADB and why it is used here? So if you see here, you have Android Debug Bridge configured. Sorry. And you have connected your mobile device here to the, so let's say this is mobile device and this is your computer. Yes, SDK is installed and ADB is a part of your Android. Clear? Now your Android SDK is installed in this particular machine. Let's say computer and your mobile device. So connect your mobile device with USB cable to your system where now we have installed your search for, since your Android debug bridge is already active, so your Android debug bridge will have your capability to communicate with the USB ports of your computer and check what all the available devices it is connected here. So if any active Android device is available connected to these USB ports here, now it will show what device is available, and your Android debug bridge will have some capabilities like pushing some text to mobile, launching a menu bar, lot of operations you can perform. I will show you in PPT what all operations you can perform, and we will do some operations. Now this part we are clear. We have installed Android SDK in this computer. Now I have connected my mobile device with USB cable. Now I need to check whether this mobile device is active or not. So I have some ADB commands. So ADB start server is the command to start your Android server. Since your server is Android, ADB commands. So let's say ADB devices. So this command will give the connected device for this system. So now I have connected Lenovo device, and this is my serial ID of the particular device. So you will have every Android mobile device will be uniquely identified with serial ID, device serial ID. This is called as device serial ID, and you are getting as a device, right? Suppose if your device is connected with USB and you are not approving to access to this mission, then it will say unauthorized. So you will have multiple statuses here. So device unauthorized, then it will say, it will not show anything. It will just let me remove my mobile device and type ADB devices and check. So now no devices is connected because I removed my USB cable. Clear? Let me reconnect. So Lenovo mobile I have connected and I'm checking. So this is my device serial ID. So now how this Android ADB debug bridge detected this mobile is because it will have capability to check on the computer USB ports for the connected Android devices. So now only I have connected this mobile device which is Lenovo. So it has given me this particular serial number. Clear, guys? So now this ADB can do some operations like, let me show in the PowerPoint. So I will show how to verify these logcats later after discussing on Android debug bridge. Yeah. Still here we are aware. Now ADB list of connected devices to your computer. Now TCP IP and connect to IP address. Let's say your mobile device and your system, the computer, both are in same network. Let's say your mobile device and your computer both are connected to the same Wi-Fi network. Then suppose if you don't want to use USB cable, if you want to eliminate connecting USB cable, then you can start a command ADB TCP IP. Fire this in your command prompt. And you are giving a port number, 5555 port. So once you start this TCP IP port, then you can check what is the IP address of the particular mobile device which you are connected. So I am connected with ADB. Connect IP address of your mobile device. So your IP address is 10.0.1.239 is the IP address which I have connected. With this particular IP address, now what I will do, once connection is established, I will remove this USB cable physically connected to this particular computer. Okay. So now if I check here ADB devices, it will show the IP with the help of IP address because you have connected the device over the air. You are not physically connected, but you still your Android debug bridge is connected to your device over the air. So just let me enter ADB devices. So now you can see with the help of IP address. Now I have removed my mobile with USB cable. So now we can perform all the ADB operations, whatever you are doing with USB cable. Yes. So I will tell you why ADB connect, disconnect, and TCP IP ports are used. So there are some ADB commands. So we will be discussing some of the important commands in this session, like ADB TCP IP, and you need to give some port number here. So then use ADB connect. What is the IP address of your mobile which is available? Okay, and you have command called ADB disconnect and IP address. So let me explain why these three commands are used. So suppose you connect, first you need to connect your mobile device with the USB cable, check for ADB devices, and if the device is active, fine. Now you want to work with ADB with your mobile, but still you don't want to connect your with USB cable. You need to remove your USB cable. So you can connect this mobile to this computer wirelessly. Means without any USB cable, you can. So what is the procedure is, you have some anti-debug bridge so TCP port in any port. Just give me a second, guys. I'm connecting my mobile. Uh, okay, let me check, guys. Okay, screen cache is not available file. So ASM jar is nothing but Android screen monitor. So whenever you connect a USB cable, if you want to see the screen of your mobile in computer, you can download this jar file and you can use it, guys. So let me go for ASM write jar file, and so meantime I will explain why how the USB is run your TCP/IP port, then connect with the IP address of your particular Wi-Fi network where you have connected. Then once you connected, it shows the success message like this: connected to particular IP address with this particular port. Okay. So once you connected like that, remove your USB cable, and you can still operate all your ADB commands with the help of this particular IP address. Instead of device serial number, previous when you connected USB cable, you were using device serial ID. Now you are using IP address of your particular mobile device. Clear? So park documents, then you'll have a better understanding for this. Then you can do some operations like ADB push a particular image file to your SD card. This is the location of your mobile device. This is your local location. Or if you want to pull some image from your SD card to your local folder, so it is possible with this ADB push and pull commands. Now ADB start server will start your ADB server. ADB kill server will stop it, and ADB get -state will tell what is the ADB server state. Then get device path will tell what is the device connected path. Then status window means it will just show you what is the status of your mobile device. Then ADB reboot is there. Now when I click reboot, it restart the mobile device. Then ADB USB is there. If I do ADB USB, it will just scan the USB ports. So it shows more than one device because I'm physically connected as well as I have connected through a Wi-Fi network, right, over there. So restarting USB mode here like this. So let me kill the server, then check for devices. Okay. Now ADB get serial number. This command will print the serial number of your device. ADB. ADB get serial number. Okay, so this is the serial number of our device. Then ADB version means it will return the Android debug bridge version. So we know how to see the ADB version, right? So it is installed in this location, and this is the debug bridge version. Then ADB restore file means so when the device content is restored, let's say if you want to take a backup of your device, so it will just take a backup of your here and it will store. Let me show you how to take that. ADB restore C:, ABCD. So let's create a folder here in C drive. And rotate. So you can give the path here where you want to restore this file. Usage required. So you need to pass the arguments, guys. I will share the document for this. What all arguments you need to pass for this one. And ADB bug report means it will include all the bugs which are available in the mobile device from since your last restart. So it will give all bug reports of debug. So my Android version is 5. This is 7, but still we can get some bug report here. I think it takes a couple of seconds to fetch what all the bugs which are available in this machine. So basically, these are some of the operations what your Android SDK is capable of doing with Android Debug Bridge. So all these operations you will be able to do with Java code, right? get the in back so let's say I'm asking all the commands, whatever it is shown here for the bug report, to save it into a particular text file. Then I can share this one with the developer. Let me fire this command. So now you can just verify this particular file, whether it has been, it's not enabled. So just so it takes a couple of minutes to fetch all the bug report. Then we can provide it to this file. .apk file. So when you got .apk file, so you can install it through Android Debug Bridge to your mobile device. So let's have a quick break for 5 minutes, guys. By the time I'll get the Android screen monitoring, and I can showcase my mobile screen to you. Okay. Let's resume after 5 minutes, guys. Is that fine? I just wanted to show my mobile screen so that you can see what this particular command and debug bridge installing application or uninstalling application is actually doing in my mobile. I just wanted to screencast you people. So Guys, let's resume the session. So I have got Android simulator here, Android screen monitoring. So whatever we were discussing is for this mobile. So this is a Lenovo mobile which is connected to this particular system. Okay. We are using commands. So these are some of the commands which we let's check some other commands like ADB version. So installing a carrier. So this contact manager is nothing but the available contacts in your mobile device and add a new contact. Okay. So this is an Android application which is developed. And, I will show you. I will show that Pallavi. So let's see one or two about the other. So when you have an application which is the extension of with .apk file here. So I have a contact manager with .apk file. Okay. So this is I don't have contact manager installed in my mobile here. So if you see here, I have calculator, calendar, camera, and till current activity. If you see in under this particular alphabetic order, I don't have contact manager application. I have contacts, which is a native application directly from OS. The Lenovo user is giving this one. I don't have this contact manager application. Now my developer has given, hey, I have developed the application contact manager. Can you just go and install in Lenovo device and can you check the write some test case and check and you can give me a test result for this. So then what I need to do as a tester, I will get this APK file. I need to install into this particular mobile device. How can I do that? So I need to use this Android debug bridge. So let me clear the screen. So I have this Android debug bridge here. Okay. I have command adb install and what is the application that developer has given to us? It's contact manager application which is available in this particular location. So now just pass the path of this particular application here till APK file. Clear? ADB install and what is the file path for your application? The end file. So then just fire this command. So it will tell it will try to push this one and give you a message. If it is success, it is installed, or if you have already installed and try to install again, it will throw an failed error and it says install failed already because you have installed before. Now come to your system, I mean in your mobile, and you can check here beside contacts, one more contact manager application is installed here. Now you are able to see this one, right? What is contact manager? This application. So this is the applications which I have here. So this is my contact manager application. I have art contact and I have some fields here. So this application is developed by developer and whether the contact says I can use the install command and I can pass the APK file and install into this particular mobile device. Clear, guys? So any queries of how to install this particular application? Android Debug Bridge is used to push your APK file into your mobile device and install. So if you want to uninstall, so you need to know what is the package name of your application. So now once you have installed here, every application, so just remember this, guys, every Android application will have package name, unique package name. Every Android application will be identified in code with package name and activity name. Okay. And every iOS application will be uniquely identified with bundle identifier. Android application. Now, what is our application here is once you install with that particular, what is package and what is activity name. So package name is nothing but unique identifier of your application. And what is activity name? It's an unique identifier of your page, of your activity or your page. So in mobile, just as a thumb rule, guys, this is called an page, right? Home page 1, home page 2, home page 3, home page 4. Like this, every home page. So every home page is an activity in your application. Let's say if I'm minimizing this one, this is my home screen, which is also called as home activity. So every page is an activity. So unique identifier of page or activity. So what is package name? It's a unique identifier for your application. And what is activity? Package name is there. And the activity name is application. Yes. So if you see now the application of contact manager here, so which we have installed. For this contact manager, you need package name and activity name to uninstall or to launch. To install, you just need the file path from local, right? Once you install, then if you want to operate with this particular application, or if you want to push the scripts to this application, then you need what is the package or activity name, even in APM code also. So you will be you can identify in multiple ways. So I'm just using current activity in application which is downloaded from Play Store. I will show you this, guys. So just give a sec here. Info. So you can get through ADB commands as well. I just check let me check what is the command here. So if you don't have ADB and you want to know what is the command to get activity or package name, so you can use this command ADB shell pm list packages. Then it will show all the available packages. Then you can verify what is the package of your particular application. So ADB shell pm of list. Okay, let's enter into ADB shell, then pm list packages. Just give a sec, guys. I just wanted to check com.workers. List packages from grep. So okay, space. So here you can get list of all packages. Now you can compare which is the package. So let me clear this one. So we might be knowing here what is the package name. Either you can check in this way, or you have an application on Play Store. So let me launch my screen here. So you can navigate to Play Store here. So check for activity, current activity application. Okay. So install this particular application. Okay. Once you install, just click on this particular application. Click on launch. It will ask the permissions to grant. Enable here current activity. Okay. Now once this is enabled, you can see 2 lines of code here. Correct. So if you see here, 2 lines here. One is the upper one is the package name, and second one is the activity name dot launcher, and this is your package. Upper one is the package name. So as I told, each and every page in your mobile is an activity, right? Now if I launch menu, you can see there is a change in this activity. So I have launched menu. If you see the activity com.android.launcher 3.launcher, and the activity is changed here. So like this, suppose now if you want to find out for current contact manager, click on this contact manager. Now this is the upper one is the package and below one is the activity. Now com.example.android.contact manager is my package name. So let me create a new notepad. So what is my package? com.example.android.contact manager. So make sure this is case sensitive, guys. Your package name, this will be given by developer during his development. So this is your package name and your activity name is com.example. It will be almost same till package name. Then activity is nothing but your first page which is there launching in your application. So contact manager. So this is my activity name. This is my PS. Application package name. Just navigate to App Store, sorry, Play Store. Search for current activity here. Search for current activity. Install this application. So it is developed by Willy. Install this particular application. Now launch this particular application in your Android mobile. So my current package is here. So launch this particular application. So not only contact manager, guys, if you want to know the application for any activity, so for this application, for the current activity application, this is the com.willime.top activity. This is the application name, sorry, package name. Let's say if I want to know the package name of Amazon, the Amazon application is installed here, right? So just click on Amazon. So it will show you. So this is the package name of my Amazon, and this is my activity name of my Amazon portal. Clear? So are you clear how to identify your package name? What is package name, guys? So what is a package name? So why we are using package name? Why we want to do? So package name is a unique identifier for your application. Let's say there are hundreds of applications which is installed in my mobile here. So if you see here, I have installed more than 120 applications. Now I need to tell my APM tool to go and communicate with a particular package, right? I cannot go, I cannot cannot work with all the applications. I am writing for some application. I need to tell, hey, I'm writing the test for this application. You go communicate only as a unique and name. It is one of the unique identifier for your mobile applications. Then what is activity name? Let's say you have an application contact manager. So for the home page, this is your contact manager page. Okay, when you click on add button, a new page is coming, right? Add button, form page is coming. Okay, so this is your new page. So for this page, if you see here, your package name is same, which is unique, and your activity name com.example.android.contactmanager. Till package name, everything will be same, and your activity will be different. Activity is nothing but your page name. So contact adder is your activity name. Okay, so like this, each and every, when you are clicking on particular going to navigating to a particular page, you will have a different page names. The page names are called activity names in your Android application. For iOS, you will have only bundle identifier. You will not have a concept of activity and all. So your bundle identifier is equivalent to your package name. So your bundle identifier is equivalent to your package name. Clear? If you want to install iOS application, uninstall iOS application, you will be using bundle identifier. Now, so let's see some more Android command, ADB commands, so that you'll have better understanding why the debug bridge. So you know how to install this application, right? ADB install, and we are providing the file path. So then the application is installed in the mobile device here. Clear? Let me show you that. So your application is installed here, the contact manager application. Now, let me exit from cell. If you want to uninstall this application, so ADB uninstall and package name. So what is the package name here? We have noted in this Notepad++. This is the package name of the application, and the command to uninstall is ADB uninstall and I'm passing the package name here. So it will be mobile device. So I have filed this application. If you see here, the icon is automatically removed. Clear? So if you want to install it again, click on install. You will push the package name through Android debug bridge. It is installed. If you want to uninstall, just use command Android ADB uninstall, and you need to pass your package name. install an application or uninstalling an application, guys? Let's say a developer is coming to you, so he's giving APK file. He's asking you to install multiple devices. So what you are going to do? There are 3 devices. Let's assume I'm a developer. I'm giving you contact manager application. I'm asking, hey, so I need to test, write 5 automation test cases for this contact manager. Can you just install in Android mobile, tablet, and any 7-inch phone, Android phone? So what is the process that you're going to follow, guys? So ADB install. So first you'll connect the Android mobile device. Okay, you'll set up Android ADB bridge, Android debug bridge after installing Android SDK. So once your Android debug bridge is available, connect your mobile device with USB cable. Check for your devices, ADB devices. So this will tell. Suppose if you want to install on Lenovo, then you need to use ADB-S. Provide the serial number of your device. Suppose if there are multiple devices, then your command ADB install, and what is the file path? So file path is, let me get this in, right. This is my file path. Provide this file path. So this is the command to execute on one device. -S will separate out on which particular device you want to execute. Pass the device serial number. Then if you want to execute on the second device, what you are going to do? You are copying the second serial ID and pass. So you can get your device name also, Pallavi. So you have Android commands there. So it's not possible to show all the Android commands in the session. I will share the document. So let me quickly show you some commands which will tell your mobile name. I think it's ADB shell -get prop. G, okay. So get prop. Get prop -. My God. Let me show you here.